because last night I was recording with Rob Van Dam. We had a special guest, Mustafa Saeed, who was of the Gangsters with New Jack and all of them, and he was trained by Gene Anderson, and so we talked about Gene last night too. Yeah, so how about that? It's pretty wild.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, Greg, I wanted to ask you, when they introduced Arn Anderson as one of the Andersons, what was your initial thoughts of that? Like him being a brother of Ole, or, all that kind of relation stuff.
Well, I didn't, because had everything going in the AWA, and the NWA had their thing going, and the Crockett's had come in and really studied our TV and stayed with Vern for about 2 or 3 days and try to lay out the way we were doing it there. And of course, Vern had trained Gene, and I thought when they created the Horsemen that Gene was in it. But then as I looked into it deeper, he wasn't there. So I guess he had been out for a while that I didn't know about. But I knew Ole. I mean, he used to come over to our house for dinner after working out, and I told that.
Drank all your milk.
Yeah,
drank all your milk. That's right.
You drank all your milk.
She had a 5-gallon can all the time, and it would be out in 3 days. He'd come over every day.
If that had been beer with Dusty, now that would have lasted 1 day.
He did drink a lot of beer back. I mean, he didn't. All you ever see him drink was milk. He a little bit of an oddball, but he was a great guy. And shit, then Vern would make me work out with him in the living room. Hey, come here, you got to show Ole how to do this. And I said, drop kick him. What? And he stood there and I drop kicked him. I was about 12 years old. And so he said, and see how he landed and how he comes up, Ole, that's it. Are you getting the picture now? So Ole, we became really pretty good friends over the years. I worked with him down in Atlanta when he was with Bill Watts down there. And he to me, he's just a great guy. And again, a great mind in the ring and outside the ring.
Yeah. How much
that whole crew back then, when Gene, what he was talking about, they had a feel for the business at that time, like few other guys had. I mean, they could talk, they could work in the ring, they knew how to get themselves over. A lot of guys didn't. They wanted to be somebody, but they didn't know how to be who they wanted to be.
Yeah.
And that's why Vern used to say, you've got an inner self that you want to be. And until you let that out and let the people see who you really are, you're not going to make it. You can't pretend to be somebody you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was training kids, I wasn't getting through to them. I'd take them out and get them drunk.
Yeah.
And then they're getting rowdy in there. And I said, hey, now this is the real you. Now give it to me tomorrow.
Yeah. Show me how it's done
we're going to work out hard. And then when we're done, I want you to do an interview and I want you to be who you were tonight in the bar.
There you go.
And then they would come over their little, hesitation about, not feeling who they really were.
Right. Yeah. It's more organic at that root.
Right. And a lot of guys never made it in the sport because they couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or they try to project somebody that they're not. And people get it. They don't buy it.
Right. Yeah. People, that's why guys like CM Punk or whoever connect.